this is my bad question. So I'd like to start by pointing a couple of things out. So this question that I took, that you'll see in a second, is from College Board, and it's an AP Bio question. So if you take a look over here, next to each question on the College Board website, they have the big ideas and the learning objectives that go with each question, which seems like a good idea, but it would be a good idea if they used it. So over here, it talks about the similarities and differences between DNA and RNA that students are expected to know, that is listed here. And in a different section, which is the essential knowledge section, it explains the relationship that they must understand. And right here, there is an exclusion statement that says the molecular structure of specific nucleotides and amino acids is beyond the scope of the AP exam. So students are not expected to know or memorize the structure of specific nucleotides. However, if you take a look at the question that is attached to this learning objective, it specifically asks you to pick out specific nucleotides, which makes absolutely no sense. So if you take a look at this, first of all, I had to attach this in a strange way because it's on a different page, which is already a knockoff. So the answer is B because of the identity of each nitrogen base. And what they had to do was they had to figure out which of these characteristics of figure 1 right here best shows that the fragment is RNA and not DNA. So the identity of each nitrogen base is right up here. It's this one, this one, this one, and this one. So the problem with that is you would have had to memorize the specific nucleotides and amino acids. You'd have to memorize those structures to know that that's the answer to that question. So it makes absolutely no sense that it is a practice question for the AP exam or that it would be on the AP exam. And I used our chart from our textbook as well. I would say that the wording is inaccurate. It's not simple or focused at all because it doesn't relate to what students are expected to know. And I would also think that the answer is certainly not obvious, but it's also not, students would not be able to answer that question. And also it does not highlight any critical words like the word not. Is not highlighted in any way. It's not bold or underlined. It's also a multiple choice question. It's pretty difficult to say that there is only one correct or best answer. I know that because I have the answer key, and that's the only reason that I do. And the response option should be brief and parallel. The options are brief and parallel, but they're also they don't make sense compared to one another. And as far as formatting, the parts of the test question are not all on one page. The figure is on a separate page than the question. The difficulty of this question is definitely very, very high, and it's in the middle of the practice test. Also, arranging items by learning target or group formats together. It is arranged by learning format, but it doesn't fit in with the learning format that it is arranged in. And the layout is also misleading, especially because of the figure in the question being on two separate pages and the fact that some of these are things that students have learned and some of them aren't. It's definitely very misleading. So that's my bad question.